Hello, Year 3. I'm a little bit sad. I'm sad because this is my last English lesson with you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope at the end of this you've come away with a lot more knowledge about different things you can use in your writing. Okay, so for those of you who have been a regular with me, what we're going to be doing now is our warm-up. Let's have a quick look as I share my screen. So it's me, Mr. Cameron, and I'm always over here. And we've been focusing on the story of The Way Home for Wolf. Let's have a look. So our warm-up today is going to be looking at word strength. I'm a really big believer in making sure we choose the correct word to convey the right meaning that we want. So similar words can have the same meanings, but different levels of strength. For example, you might feel happy, or overjoyed, or ecstatic, or cheerful. But which word carries more power for that emotion? So if I was going to write them down in order of, what I think is most powerful, least powerful to the most powerful, this is how I would do it. I'd say, oh, I feel happy. And I might go, oh, I feel cheerful. I feel overjoyed. Oh, yes, I feel ecstatic. You might be happy because, you've just seen your friend at school. You might be cheerful because your friend is coming over after school to play with you, but it doesn't really happen before. You might be overjoyed because it's your birthday. Okay, you might be ecstatic because on your birthday you got a present that you weren't expecting to get, and it's the best present ever. So all of those words have a similar kind of meaning, but they can carry different strength. Now with this, there's no right or wrong answer for this one, but what I want you to do is to think about the different strengths of these words. So let's have a look. Putting the words in order from the weakest to the strongest feeling. So here, you can feel sad or depressed, downcast, unhappy, or sorrowful. So which one do you think has the weakest to which one has the strongest feeling? Pause the video now while you write them down, and remember there's no right order. It's your own thoughts. Excellent work. Let's go. So the next word, ooh, you could feel angry or irate. You could be annoyed. You could be vexed, or you could be cross. Again, pause the video and write down the words in order of the weakest to the strongest. And again, I'll remind you, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is just your own personal ideas. Remember, all these words have a similar kind of meaning. Okay, welcome back. And now we've got the last one. Okay, something could be dark. It could be pitch black. It could be dim. It could be black. It could be unilluminated. So they have a similar kind of meaning, these words, but which one do you think is the weakest? Which word do you think is the strongest? Start with the weakest. There's no right or wrong answer, and then write them down. And pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that, boys and girls. What I like about doing this as a bit of a warm-up is it helps my children to be exposed to different words. Okay, so if they're writing a story now and they're writing about a character who is cross or angry, they might think, oh, the teacher was cross because the students weren't listening. But if the student's done something really, really wrong, okay, splattered the classroom with paint, I don't think cross would quite fix it. The teacher there might be feeling vexed, okay, or irate, okay. The next one, if they're talking about a setting where it's a little bit dark, okay, trying to create that mood, okay, they might say, oh, yeah, it was a black night, okay, or it might be a dim night if it's not so dark. Okay, it was a pitch black night. Okay, so it means you can't see a thing. These kind of words we can then use in our writing, and it's good to have a bigger bank of words that we can use. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something new. So let's move on. So we are going to continue looking at direct speech. But yesterday we talked about using the correct punctuation before closing speech, because this is sometimes the trickiest thing to think about. When do I use a full stop? When do I use a comma? When do I use a question mark? When do I use an exclamation mark? There's 4 choices there. I've got to make sure I'm choosing the right one. How do I do it? So let's have a look. So what do we know already? We know there's 5 things we have to remember for direct speech. Number 1, excellent work, open using speech marks. Number 2, write exactly what the character is said. Don't change it at all. Number 3 is the one we're focusing. Use the correct punctuation. There's 4 punctuation marks we can use. Comma, question mark, exclamation mark, and a full stop. Number 4 then, excellent work. I have to close those speech marks. And number 5, write a reporting clause. Tell me who is speaking. An example is just down the bottom here. Where will we live now? Now, I've used a question mark because the wolf is asking a question. But what if he's not asking a question? Let's have a look. So let's look at direct speech here. Just going over what we need to know. Very similar to what we learned yesterday. And number 3 says to use the correct punctuation, but when do we know which punctuation mark to use? So we know a question mark. We use a question mark when someone has asked a question and when they want to find out an answer. Okay, whether they have an answer or it's implied, we know that a question mark is after an answer. We use an exclamation mark to add emphasis to what is being said. You know, we need to emphasize either strong feelings or loudness. Okay, stop what you're doing, please. Stop what you're doing, please. That would use an exclamation mark. I want to have those loudness there. Okay, for a comma, we know we use a comma to separate less or separate, a subordinate clause from a main clause. Okay, and we know we have to use a full stop to mark the end of a sentence or a statement. But that doesn't really help me when I'm using, speech. Okay, it does a little bit, but not too much. I think we need to investigate a little bit more. So let's have a look. Let's look at these parts here. Can you see a pattern for using a comma or for using a full stop inside the speech marks? So don't worry about the full stop anywhere else, just looking inside speech marks. Let's read these sentences. I want to be the leader, said Wilf. Wilf said, I want to be the leader. Have a look there. Have a look at the reporting clause. What patterns can you see? Let's look at the next one. I am the strongest wolf, said Wilf. Wilf said, I am the strongest wolf. Have a look at your reporting clause. Have a look at the punctuation. Are you noticing a pattern? I will help you find your way, said the walrus. The walrus said, I will help you find your way. Pause the video now while you spend a little bit of time looking at inside speech marks and at the reporting clause and see if you can find a pattern for where there's a comma and where there's a full stop. Okay, excellent work. Did you work it out? So let's have a look at this first one here. I've got my speech here and I've got my reporting clause. So what punctuation have I used? Used a comma. Here, I've got my reporting clause. I've got my direct speech, but here I've got a full stop. Is that the same for the next one? What they're saying, comma, reporting clause. But reporting clause, what they're saying, full stop. I'm seeing a pattern. Let's have a look. What they're saying, comma, reporting clause, direct speech, what they're saying, full stop. Excellent work. Were you able to work out that? So before closing the speech marks, if a reporting clause is at the end, we use a comma. So here I've got the reporting clause at the end, I use that comma inside. Here I've got the reporting clause at the end, I use the comma inside. Reporting clause is at the end, I use the comma inside. If a reporting clause is at the front, okay, what we have to do is to use that full stop because it's the end of the statement. There it is. Excellent. So that full stop is at the end of a statement. Here we use the comma because it's separating it. One part, one clause for speaking clause from the reporting clause. So I use that comma and I only use the full stops to mark the end. So if you think you can know that now, let's have a quick look and see if you can put it into practice. So which punctuation mark should I use, a comma or a full stop? Leave my cave, said the bear. Ooh, the reporting clause is at the end here. What do I need to use in there? The bear said, leave my cave. Oh, the reporting clause is at the front here. So what punctuation mark do I need there? Are you ready? Excellent work. Fantastic. Okay, for the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to write it down and then write in the correct punctuation. Are you ready? I'll take you to see my friend, said the walrus. Pause the video there and then write it down and write in the correct punctuation mark you think. Have a look, got my reporting clause there at the end. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the next one then. Walrus said, I'll take you to see my friend. Oh, here's my reporting clause. What punctuation mark will go just in here? Pause the video and write it down before I show you the answer. Are you ready? Excellent work. I need a comma here because my reporting clause is at the end. But here, because I've got my reporting clause at the front, I need a full stop. How did you go? Thumbs up or just one thumbs up? Or to the side because you're still struggling a little bit. That's okay. Let's do one more. Okay, I'm going to get you to pause it again after I've read it so you can write it down and include the correct punctuation. The wolf said, we need an elder. Have a look at your reporting clause at the front here. If the reporting clause is at the front, what do I need? We need an elder, said the wolves. Here's my reporting clause at the end. What do I need in here? Okay, pause the video, write those two sentences down and fill in those boxes with the correct punctuation. Okay, welcome back. How did you go? Excellent work. This top one, I need a full stop because my reporting clause is at the front. This bottom one here, my reporting clause is at the end, so I need a comma there to separate them. Fantastic work. I think you're going better. Let's have a look. Same thing. I'm going to talk it to you, then I want you to pause the video. Will said, look at me. Look at me, said Wilf. Pause the video, write down those two pieces of direct speech, but then fill in your gaps. Okay, welcome back. Excellent work. That top one is a full stop because my reporting clause is here. The bottom one is a comma because my reporting clause is at the end. Last one, boys and girls. I think I've already done this. Let's skip over that one. Okay, so let's have a look. What have we learned today? So we know we open using speech marks. We write what exactly is being said. We use either a comma, a question mark, an exclamation mark, or a full stop. And then we close our speech and we write a reporting clause. Who's speaking? If a reporting clause is at the end of our direct speech, we use that comma inside the final speech mark. If a reporting clause is at the beginning, we use a full stop inside the speech marks. Let's have a look at what it looks like. I want to be the leader, comma, said Wilf, because my reporting clause is here. Wilf said, I want to be the leader, full stop, because my reporting clause is at the front. Boys and girls, that was just a nice, short, sharp lesson, okay? I hope that helped a little bit with trying to tell you what punctuation I use, when and where using direct speech. Okay, hopefully now you can use direct speech a little bit more accurately in your writing. It's okay if you make mistakes. Okay, it takes a long time to learn this, and I'm sure that your teachers will help a little bit more to clarify any misconceptions. Okay, thank you for joining me for all those lessons. I hope you've enjoyed them. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye now.